The silence speaks and the rhythm knows. What now? Every tale we tell, the energy grows. Jazz in the soul and the truth in view. Old school style, but the lens feels new. What now? What now? The people say. Voices echo, we pave the way. Real talk, real love, no filters here.
This is Kenny Quill reporting for the Maricopa Monitor and Pinal Central. The Maricopa Debutante Organization held their first annual talent show fundraiser on August 30th, and we were there to see it all. The Debs and Bows put on quite the show, with video presentations, poetry, music performances, short plays, comedy sketches, and speed art. Director Kiana Earley-Palafox couldn't be more thrilled with their performances.
It went really well. The kids were nervous, but they did all the talents really good, better than I thought that they were going to do. Better than rehearsal, which is always the goal.
The Maricopa Debutante Organization's board members, along with special guest, Councilperson Henry Wade, acted as the judges, evaluating and critiquing each performance to find the first, second, and third place winners, all of whom received medals and Dollar Tree gift cards. When it was all said and done, the talent show met its fundraising goal of $500 with ticket sales alone, but passed that fundraising goal with the successful auctioning of 2 art pieces by one of the debutantes for $100 each, bringing the total raised to $700.
We raised $700, which I'm really grateful for because now we can rent that van and take them to GCU and ASU and U of A and NAU and show them their college opportunities, which I'm really excited.
Welcome to another episode of What Now? Where we discuss the things that are going on in the community in Maricopa and outside of Maricopa. And today we have a lovely young lady who's doing so much in her community, Kiana Earley-Palafox of Maricopa Debutante Organization. And she's going to tell us a little bit about her organization and what inspired her to create it. Please let us know a little bit about your organization, why you decided to start it, what inspired you.
Oh, well, first, thank you for having me. It's good to be here. I've seen the show, love it already. What inspired me to do this, well, not to bring a damper on the interview, but in 2023, my father passed away, and he was a big community person, just a strong, proud Black man that went out into the community and helped wherever he saw fit. He spent his teens in the early 80s in LA, and we all know how rough that was. He became a corrections officer. He was one for 31 years. He worked in youth authority, and his thing was mentorship. He would tell these young men, because youth authority is 18 to 25, hey, you don't have to do this. Yes, you made a mistake, but finish getting that GED. Let's go to college. I don't want to see you back here. And he figured that his way of reaching his people was to meet them, through the school to prison pipeline. Like, I'll be that intervention right there, and we'll knock it out. And people would see him later in life, like we'd be at a gas station and they'd go, oh, Mr. Early, I just want you to know that I never went back. I do this now. And so that stuff does matter when you look at people and you say, hey, I believe in you, you matter. Some people never had anybody say that. That's why they end up in those situations. So after his passing, there was a big talk about legacy and things like that. And I'm not gonna go join the police force at my age. I'm just not doing it. It's not for me. But I've seen that there is a need in my own community. There are a bunch of teenagers who just seem lost. And while I think Maricopa is like really good, a family spot, kids, 4 to 13 have all sorts of things at the library that they can do, community things they can do. I feel like once you've hit that threshold of 13, you're kind of forgotten. And so I seen some of the nonsense that's going on. I was like, well, if I give them a place to go at least twice a month and tell them, hey, you're worth it, you're smart, you're strong, you're capable, let me harness the skills and the talents that you already have. I think that's where it was born from. It's just, you can be that intervention point for people. Because there's people that my dad met at 18 that he saw again way later. 31 years is a really long time. And they're like, I'm married now, I have 2 kids, I'm a contractor.
Seems like your dad planted that seed, and now you're paying it forward, planting that seed.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's amazing because we all are responsible for each other, and we're responsible for what happens down the road with these kids. And just in your, from your experience, what are some of the maybe negative things that you have seen kids kind of get in trouble when they don't have that oversight? What are some things, and you deal with that now. So what can you share with the audience? Maybe some of the things that you've seen which really kicks into gear why you need to have this organization.
Oh, absolutely. My grandma always raised us on idle hands do the devil's work. And I think what it is just being idle. I've seen big groups of teenagers just leave campus. And I'm just like, do they not notice that 15 of you guys are just no longer at the school? Or, I've seen, so when my daughter got sick, I went to Exceptional, and I saw a teenage boy rushed in because of a firearms situation. And his mom ran in crying, and I told her, I said, I hope your baby is okay. And, some other religious things I'm not going to do in the interview. But I went outside, and I was talking to his father, and he said, I moved away from the city so this wouldn't be an issue. There's so many of us who have lived in the cut and who moved to the suburbs to have that better life. So none of that stuff should follow you. And that also kicked in that, that high gear of doing this for these kids, because they're honestly, at the end of the day, you're just bored and you want to entertain yourself. When I grew up, there was a skating rink, there was a movie theater, there was a mall, there were parks that we would go hang out at that had security, because I'm from SoCal, security is everywhere. But it kept you from doing things. So they had a really big see something, say something policy. So, you couldn't be wild. Well, if most of us are working, or most of us are in our homes, you can walk around and get into trouble because there really is nobody looking out for you. So I've seen the fights, and I'm trying to get into certain high schools that do have a high fighting and violent statistics, and do even assemblies if they'd let me, and just be like, no, there are people besides your mom and dad, besides your granny and grandpa, that want you to be the best that you can be. You don't have to fight your way through life. It's an exhausting route, as many of us can attest to.
Yes.
That we had to become a certain age to find peace and realize, but if I can give you plant that seed in you at, 14, 15 years old, you can have a more peaceful life and adapt to things a lot better in your later years.
And you're absolutely right. Providing an alternative, a solution to the problem. It seems like that's what you're trying to do with Maricopa Debutante Organization. Tell us a little bit about the organization. When did you start? And
we launched February 27th of 2024. It is co-ed. We are a debutante, but we're also a botillion. I hope I'm saying that correctly. We take in girls as well as young men. We teach young women to have standards and young men to have standards. It's not one-sided. We believe that everybody should be treated with respect. I ask the kids, the teenagers, what's your nickname? What do you prefer to be called? We like to do icebreakers. If you had a superpower, would you rather fly or be invisible? Okay, but now why? And then they're like, oh, I have to talk more. Yes, you have to speak more. We love to do friend bingo, find somebody with blue shoes, find somebody with, who speaks 2 languages. And it forces them to interact with each other. And I will say that at the beginning is my favorite because they're all shy, right? They never, I don't know that person, I'm not going to talk to them. And then by the end, they're like, oh, yeah, I'll text you when I get home. Or, yeah, I have this project. I'm going to call you later. And they create their own friendships within. And what's really funny is that as board members or the people in the back that just watch, we think, oh, that person's funny or that person's most helpful. But then when we ask the kids, it's entirely different people. Wow. Like, oh, well, he calls me every Saturday to make sure that I'm good. Like, oh, okay. And I think that's really good because we also push, awareness and compassion and empathy. We're very high on mental health. Check in on your friends. If you know someone's struggling, that's not my business. That stuff is important. And we've had teens announce their phone number and be like, anybody can call me. This is my number. And it's usually the shy, more introverted person who ends up extending that helping hand, which is also really surprising. So the organization is just really good for that. We hone in on financial literacy, not to be duped by credit, how to finance their skills. We got girls that do hair, we got girls that crochet, we got guys, young men that know how to build things. And it's like, well, you can start making money on what you can do now, put that money up for yourself. We do college prep. One of my board members works for CAC, and she can tell you by grade level what you need to complete for certain college requirements, or by grade level, what do you need for scholarships and grants. And she has all sorts of scholarship and grant websites for people to go to, because a lot of people don't know what's available until we don't know what we don't know. That's my favorite saying, to say you don't know what you don't know. So we like to give people all this information. We do etiquette. We teach you what fork to use. But with my etiquette, because I would like to clarify, it is not so much pulling out the chair. And we do teach that, though, so young men know when to stand and when to sit and do that. But it's more so dinner party small talk, interview lunch small talk, because that stuff is important, because a lot of people go to interviews and just eat and don't say anything unless they're spoken to. And then they're like, oh. It's like, no, it's okay to, like, talk about the weather, expand.
And how did the young people respond to the etiquette classes? Because we know that most of them are online, they're on social media, and so we know that part's lacking. Did you see any pushback, or did they welcome it? How did it turn out?
They welcomed it. We had a tea party. Mainly the young women, they always look for a reason to dress up and feel pretty, even though they're pretty 365. The young men, though, really surprised me, because they take these skills to, like, their mother or their grandmother or their aunts and other women in their lives. They're like, oh, no, let me hold that for you. Oh, no, Mom, let me take your jacket. I'll wrap it around my arm. Let me pull your chair out. And they don't realize that. And then I have parents come like, you know, he held the door open for me yesterday, and he helped me get in my car, and he asked me for my purse before I got. And then it's like, yeah, I'm glad. Beautiful. I'm glad. Because you think people have this notion that young men are harder to teach, but they're just as eager as their female counterparts to learn this information, because they want to be seen as
and that's
good
interesting
men.
That you include the men, because now statistics are saying, or showing us, that a lot of them, our young males, feel left out. They don't feel included. They're not attending college at as high rates as some of the females. What do you see your organization doing to maybe encourage that a little bit more?
We are very estrogen heavy. The board is all women. We do have 2 male volunteers that are wonderful. If this is a shout out, if you want to be a male volunteer, please reach out and let us know. We need as many big brothers and unks and granddads as we can get. But I think they get shocked. I think the original classes, because I asked them these questions as well, like when we talk about social media and the pressures of what you should look like, what you should act like, how you should think, I think is more so amplified for their age group than it was for mine. Like, I went to high school between 2009 and 2013, and YouTube had just got started. Instagram wasn't as big. Facebook was, that's how you talked to your grandma who lived in another state, and now you have strangers around you 24/7 telling you how a real man acts or how a real woman should be, and it's all misinformation. So when we do have these social media talks, a lot of the guys kind of, they're gonna ask the girls, and I'm like, well, does social media put pressure on you to look a certain way? And then they're like, yeah, me? You're like, yes, you. And they're like, yeah, I feel like I should be 6'4", and I should be super buff, and I should be mean but nice, but only mean if she wants me to be mean, but nice if she wants me. And it's confusing for them as well. Yeah. So I really like having the young male perspective of social media, because I know what it's doing to girls. They feel like they should be super skinny, but super tall, but super voluptuous at the same time. Hair should be down, below their rear, and but the hair shouldn't be natural. They should be doing the sew-in and this. And it's like, no, how you look is fine. And I make them say affirmations. I make these young teenagers, I'm smart, I am capable, I am confident, and I make them say it. And then one week I didn't make them say it. I was like, I told myself I'm lazy today, I don't want to do. And then they're like, Mrs. Palafox, I need to say my affirmation. What is my affirmation today?
So you think they look forward to it now, and they're used to it?
Yes. So now if I don't do it, I get in trouble.
Wow. But you're reinforcing, those positives about them, and there's no telling what they might hear at home.
Exactly.
So that's amazing. So some of the affirmations are what again?
So one of them is I am capable. Mm-hmm. I make them say they're smart all the time. I am intelligent, and what I don't know, I can always learn.
Beautiful.
Because some people, well, if I don't know it, I don't know it, and it's like we're not meant to know everything. We're not omnipotent. Like we're not meant to know. I make them say things like, well, I don't make them. Like I put it up there. If you want to say it, some of them, the first week they don't want to say it. They all feel like, I ain't saying this, and then by the time we leave, there's a different roar in their confidence for sure. And like you said, to touch on home, we don't know what they're being told at home. In my own household, not on my father's side, but on my mother's side, I wasn't told the kindest things growing up. It was my dad, when I moved in with him, who was like, no, all that is nonsense. That's not who you are. And then when you have someone clear the cobwebs of your mind and tell you, like, no, you are smart, you are capable, you are confident. Well, I'm not really confident. Well, yeah, you are, because here you are. And I had a girl who was so introverted. She tried out for the talent show, had to sing with her eyes closed and her back to me because she was just so nervous. Went on and recorded her singing, and we were like, we'll broadcast it. We'll put it on the board. And she got so much, you're so good at what you do. And she was like, oh my gosh, thank you. And it's like, who's telling you that you're not capable? Yeah. Like, you are very capable, and we believe in mental health. We know that that's how we're losing a lot of our young people, and we want to intervene on that. So it's very important that you come in here and you have good, you can come in with no confidence, but guarantee when you leave MDO for the 13-week season, you will have confidence. Guarantee.
Great discussion, and I really would like to pick your brain a little bit about what happens when some youth come to your program, or they're part of it, and they have mental challenges. How do you handle that? And have you had experiences like that?
Yes, so every board member is Safe Zone certified. We've all taken the training for it, which means no matter your social economic background, sexual orientation, lifestyle, none of that matters, right? Like a job, right? None of that's important, but we do classify ourselves as mandated reporters, so unless you're planning on hurting yourself or others, think of us as people that are just here to listen and just support you. We did have an individual who I will keep anonymous because we believe in protecting our youth and our teens, so no names will be said. We had a conversation about mental health and anxiety, and this individual got really distraught, and I noticed it, so we asked her to step out of the classroom, and we took her a ways down so this person could have their privacy, and we're just like, hey, like what's going on? How can we help you? Because we know that there's things going on in your life besides the world that we have going on. So it could be family, it could be their teenagers, boyfriend, girlfriend stuff is really big to them right now. Bad grades, some people get really distraught over that. And she just said for the first time she felt seen. Wow. Because I guess there isn't an avenue in her life where they talk about these sorts of things. So that's like the positives of what we do. Beautiful. On the negative, we also had an individual who was very disruptive, who decided to show up, be rude, no longer continue, join a parental group chat of sorts, and start using foul language. And I sent a professional email, said, you are no longer part of this program. And that person was removed from everything. We don't tolerate that. There's a difference between having mental health problems and issues, and then there's going out of your way to be disruptive. And we do have a code of conduct with that. You treat everybody right, you are respectful to everybody. But if you need to be heard, we're there for that too. And we let that be known day one of these classes when we're doing the introduction and introducing ourselves and all that. Wow. We're like, if you need someone to talk to, please reach out to us. We have an email that that they can contact us on. I do not accept Facebook friend requests from my teenagers. I do not accept Instagram, and I tell my board the same thing.
Yeah, keep it separate.
Keep it separate. If you want to message the Maricopa Debutante Facebook, you're more than welcome to. If you want to message the Maricopa Debutante Instagram, you're more than welcome to. Personal numbers, they do have my personal number. They are allowed to text me in regards to the classes or any events coming up. That's perfectly fine.
But nothing personal.
But nothing personal, and I let them know that.
I can understand that.
We're creating boundaries and we're teaching boundaries. If you do need me for something personal, come to the class. Come talk to me or message me through those respective platforms. I think that just keeps everybody above buck.
I love
everybody.
That. Yeah, I love that. And that keeps you safe, the kids safe, and the organization safe.
Yes.
And, as we wrap it up, I am curious about how parents interact or how they volunteer. Can they volunteer? Can other people volunteer? How does that happen? How can people be volunteers in your program?
I love parental volunteers. We've had a couple class moms that were just like really good. So class moms come to the class and they stay for the full 2 hours. They help serve dinner because sometimes we are able to feed our children dinner. We get it at 6:30 at night. You're hungry. They serve so that we're not interrupted. So who's ever teaching can teach. We had a class mom who will again this year do her anxiety volunteer seminar that she does, because she's really big in therapy and stuff like that, and giving teenagers, if you're angry, like how to have positive outlets for that and positive outlets for anxiety. And it's okay to just unplug. We forget that we weren't born with phones in our hands. It's okay to put them down. It's okay to turn your phone off at 5 p.m. and not look at it again until 9 in the morning. And it's okay. You're not missing anything. But I think in their mind, like if I don't respond, they're gonna think I'm ignoring them, and it's become a thing. Like, no, it's okay to just, no, thank you. I'm having dinner with my family. I'm gonna turn my phone off now. And so I really love her and her seminar, and I'm really glad she's doing it again. So if you are a parent and you want to volunteer, yes, we have a volunteer form on our website. We do ask for fingerprint cards or background checks. If you have one from work, cool. If you need to get one, please message us and let us know so we can point you into the right avenues for that, because we want everybody that is allowed to be around children to be around children.
Would you share with our audience, first of all, your full name and the website in case they want to check it out and reach out to you?
My name is Kiana Earley-Palafox, and our website is Maricopa Debutante Organization, GoDaddySites.com. I have not paid for the domain yet, working on it, but everything is right there. Facebook, Maricopa Debutante Organization, and Instagram, Maricopa Debutante Organization.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, at What Now, we've enjoyed this great conversation with this lovely young woman who is somebody we need to watch for in the community. She's going to be doing bigger and better things, I believe it. And thank you for tuning in, and thanks for coming to visit us on the show. What now?
Voices echo, we pave the way. Real talk, real love, no filters here. What now, we make it clear. Yeah, the silence speaks and the rhythm knows. What now, every tale we tell. The energy grows, jazz in the soul and the truth in view. Old school style, but the lens feels new. What now, the people say. Voices echo, we pave the way. Real talk, real love, no filters here. What now, we make it clear. Yeah, the silence speaks and the rhythm knows what now. Every tale we tell, the energy grows. Jazz in the soul and the truth in view. Old school style, but the lens feels new. What now?